Welcome to Leonidas' story. This is part of my shit list series. We're going to call this Volume 1. Now, as I mentioned before, the shit list is somebody who's done something really terrible and deserves to be remembered for their shitty acts. And a shit list today, we're going to start with somebody famous. As I said in the intro to this series, I don't have anybody on my shit list that did anything to me. I'm pretty fucking cynical, and I tend to deal with things at the point that they happen, so I don't harbor a lot of stuff. Most of the people that I have bad feelings about did something to somebody I care about. In this case, we're going to deal with a famous film director, a fellow named Steven Soderbergh. Now, you may know Steven from Ocean's 11 or Sex, Lies, and Videotape or any of the other films he's done. And he's a pretty famous guy. But he is got a permanent place on my shit list. Here's why. Well, Steven went to LSU, same place I went to college. But he was a few years ahead of me, so I never knew him. And when I was getting back into the film business after my years in the fire truck industry, it's around the time I met my future wife, Linda. And Steven had made a big splash in Hollywood with a little film called Sex, Lies, and Videotape with Andy McDowell. Now, it was an independent film, but it got a lot of buzz, and he used it to further his clout and make a couple of pet projects that he wanted to do, one of which I want to believe was called Kafka. Another was called King of the Hill, I think. Nothing to do with the wonderful Mike Judge series. And these were critical flops and financial disasters for the people who funded them. So needless to say, Hollywood is called the film business. It's not called the film art. And when you lose people a lot of money, they tend to forget your phone number. So somewhere around 95, 96, Steven comes crawling back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana with his tail between his legs. He's got a bunch of short ends he's bought, which look up short ends of film. Back when we used to shoot on film, that was kind of a big thing. An old Arriflex camera that he owned. And he's got an idea for a film called Schizopolis. Now, I played a tiny little role in Schizopolis. Is forgettable and shitty and not even worth talking about. But Schizopolis was a completely unpaid, off-the-books project. And my late wife, Linda, took a position on that as a field producer. Now, nobody on Schizopolis got credits. I think Internet Movie Database has added some people to it later on. But there were no credits with the original film. But Linda helped wrangle extras. She helped find locations. She appears in the film, I think, 12 or 13 times. She does voiceovers in the film. She does a neat little scene as the Schwitter's fanatic. which is something I included in her memorial video that played at her funeral. I'll put a link to the memorial video down below here. Well, the thing was, Steven's position was, hey, man, I need help. I need help getting my movie made. Help me make this and I'll never forget you. You'll be part of the people that help me get back on top. And anything you need, come see me. I'll work with you forever. So everybody, I guess, that worked on that film believed that and worked with him. And Linda worked her ass off. I mean, she worked extremely hard to make that movie and make sure it got completed. So it did get completed. It went to Cannes, and he went on to get back into good graces and start making some more movies. So when we got to Los Angeles, 97, 96, 97, Linda said, hey, I see Steven's making a movie. Let me call him up. I need work, and maybe I can get a job as if he'll hire me as a production assistant, or an assistant production manager, or anything, production office. I just need, we need to work and we need to make money, and so this will be an easy way for me to get in, and I'm a hard worker. So she calls Steven's office and talks to his assistant and leaves a message, because he's a busy guy. He's making, I don't remember whether it was The Limey or Out of Sight at that point. It was one of those two. And so she does his whole bit, and no phone call back. So a week later she calls back, talks to the assistant. She says, oh yeah, I talked to Steven. He says, yeah, we're all crewed up. Tell you to say he's sorry. You can leave a resume if anything opens up. Maybe we'll find you a spot. Now, that's a bullshit blow-off. He could have at least brought her in as a production assistant. I mean, that's the lowest. That's the person who gets coffee and runs the shit errands. But didn't even get a phone call from him. The next film he did, she said, well, hey, I understand this. This stuff happens. I'll call him early on this one and make sure that I get in. So, weeks out of production, she sees a listing for his next film, calls in, again gets his assistant. Exact same thing again. This is just a firm example of this guy was just a dick. He forgot everybody that helped him. And when she needed help, and she expressed this to the assistant, hey, hey, I'm not working. I really could use a job. Do you have anything at all that I can do? The assistant passes this message on to Steven. Nothing. Sorry, we're crewed up. You can send in a resume, but, We don't have anything available. Well, she never tried again, but she was deeply hurt by this. She had worked really hard to help him when he asked for help. And then when she needed just a job, he completely forgot about her. And so that's why, Steven Soderbergh, you're on my shit list for eternity. This has been Leonidas' story. If you like it, send me a subscription request. I'll answer any questions if you want any of those answered. We'll see you next time.